Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The Lowndes County Board of Supervisors meeting takes a dramatic turn this morning when a citizen proposed the board remove the two Lowndes County EMCC Board of Trustee members. Our Scott Martin was at the meeting when tempers began to flare. He joins us in the studio with that story.
It was a move that Supervisor Leroy Brooks took very personally. Now, this all stems from a prior EMCC trustee budget meeting when trustees couldn't agree on a budget issue. That meeting ended with a threat from a Lauderdale County trustee to a former EMCC employee who dropped the F-bomb in a meeting and was then asked to resign. At another meeting, half of the trustees walked out, and the spiraling continued today when a citizen asked for the Lowndes County trustees to be removed.
I'm pissed off. You're talking about bad words. I think you're completely out of order. We should have stopped you from the beginning.
Tempers were raised as Supervisor Leroy Brooks tells Boomer Brown he was out of line. Brown addressed supervisors asking them to appoint new trustees to represent Lowndes County at EMCC. Brown claims their representation puts the Golden Triangle in a negative light.
There's discontent in the board right now. They can't get along, our members, or there was a staged walkout that they were a part of. And then the following meeting, they just didn't show up altogether. I was there, I witnessed it.
That's not how the Lowndes County trustees view the situation.
The meeting I was referred to that was walked out upon, we actually did vote and actually did close the information that needed to be fulfilled for that day. We just didn't address all the items that were on the agenda.
Lance Walters says the meeting he didn't attend was a makeup meeting that fell under a scheduling conflict for him, but business went on as usual. For Supervisor Brooks, Brown's proposal was a vendetta against the Board of Supervisors and EMCC trustees.
Oh, you have said there's some hearsay stuff about this and that. Now, you said you were at some meetings. Fact is, I think we should cut the discussion off, and I'm not interested in hearing anything else. I'm insulted, and if Dr. Albrook is this the way he's governed, maybe we need to call him in and talk to him.
Maybe you should.
Well, we should, but I think you are out of order.
It's no secret the last few trustee meetings have been heated. Trustees confirmed threats were made, and one employee was forced to resign after dropping the F word. Trustee Rudy Johnson says it isn't fair because other employees at EMCC have used the word on a national platform and go unpunished, which is what he says led to the walkout.
I said I'm tired of the double standards. I'm tired. We lost a good employee because he dropped the F word. But we got 10 hours of football coach doing it and nothing happens. That's double standards.
Yeah, a lot of people upset there. Another big issue was EMCC's budget, which trustee Lance Walters says the school is losing money and that the budget is a big problem right now. We'll dive into that part coming up on WCBI News tomorrow night.
All right, Scott in our studio with that story. It is time now to turn our attention to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with our first look tonight. Hey, Keith.
Andrea, a live view here in downtown Tupelo with our Alpha Insurance camera network. You can see some building clouds out there. South of Tupelo, we do have some showers and thunder showers, even off to the east as well. But these are on a scattered basis. We have some heavier rain, again, just to the east of Calhoun City near Vardaman down towards the Bentley community. And what we did have around Starkville has begun to weaken here, but still some residual cloud cover. Temperatures all over the place. We are in the 70s or 80s. Tupelo is still at 90, but showers and storms fade away. We're looking at a quiet evening. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
What investigators believe was an attempt to make a quick buck lands a suspected burglar in jail. 49-year-old Ricky Long of Columbus is charged with burglary of a dwelling. Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott says Long allegedly posted stolen items from a Clay County home on a buy, sell, and trade site. Investigators with both Clay and Lowndes County initiated a sting operation to buy an autographed University of Alabama basketball. Sheriff Scott says other stolen items were recovered and he suspects Long had worked as a contractor for the homeowners before the burglary. Scott is encouraging people to change their locks after construction projects are completed in their homes.
What we're investigating is somehow or another he possibly maybe had a duplicate key made. So we're advising everybody, when you're dealing with contractors, be very careful with the keys to your house. Make sure that you keep up with it, even change the locks once your work is done around your house, just to be on the safe side.
Now, Long remains in custody on a $10,000 bond. Anthony Brown's death is making national headlines after he was gunned down in the Walmart store he managed in South Haven. This, of course, happening Tuesday. But in Caledonia, his loss is being felt at a more personal level. Brown grew up there and graduated from Caledonia High School. He played Little League as a child and was a standout on the high school team. Our Quentin Smith talked with two of his coaches today. Quentin, how are they remembering Anthony today?
Andrea, his coaches remember him as a soft-spoken person with a good work ethic and someone who loved his family. Brown was the manager of the South Haven Walmart, but he began his career with Walmart right here in Columbus. Now, family members and friends are trying to make sense of such a senseless tragedy. Before he was a team member and manager at Walmart, Anthony Brown's dreams were tied to another team.
He was a darn good pitcher.
This is Brown pictured with some of his teammates at Caledonia High School. He started out playing youth league. Bubba Woods was his coach.
He's a pretty good hitter, and he could play about any position you put him on the field. He was that good.
In fact, he was so good that he earned a baseball scholarship to East Mississippi Community College after high school. New Hope High School principal Matt Smith coached Brown while he was at Caledonia.
Countless memories of us on the practice field and traveling to games, and he coached first base for me, and you know, just his contribution to my life was probably much more than I ever contributed to his.
Woods and Smith both had a huge impact on Brown's life and watched him go from childhood to adulthood. That's why they're taking the devastating news of his death so hard.
I get choked up when I think about it, because memories came back. And to lose a life that young, and the daddy of two little boys, the husband to a fine young lady, and just a good family man all the way around.
The Caledonia man was shot and killed inside the South Haven Walmart. Investigators say he was killed by a former employee who was recently fired from that store.
It's a tragic loss, senseless loss, and you know, this town and this country, so it's a darker place because of this.
Walmart lost probably one of their top managers in the system when they lost Anthony Brown.
Woods admits he's still having a hard time coming to grips with this tragedy, but he says he'll continue to reflect on the fond memories he shared with Brown to help him get through this tough and difficult time.
You don't spend that many years with young men and forget them. And that was the type young man Anthony Brown was. You don't forget him.
Now, both coaches say as good as Brown was on the baseball diamond, he was an even better person off of the field. After leaving Columbus, Brown worked in Shreveport, Louisiana before moving to South Haven. At this time, funeral arrangements are still pending.
Such a tragic loss. Thanks, Quentin. Well, with primary elections just around the corner, we're taking a look at one of the races down the ticket. We'll do that when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Primary elections for statewide and county offices are less than a week away. While some of the positions are familiar, like supervisor, coroner, and sheriff, others, like constable, are not quite as familiar to us. Our Riley Livingston finds out more about their duties. She joins us live with more on that. Riley.
If you've been to Justice Court, you may have met a constable. They serve an important role by serving subpoenas and arrest warrants and other papers, but they also serve another role. Constables, a job the community relies on, but what exactly do they do?
Our main job, I guess you might say, is work for Justice Court.
That comes with a lot of responsibility.
We serve all the civil process that comes out of Justice Court, the subpoenas and summons, and can serve warrants. We do bailiff work during court time, and we call the docket. We call up who's going to be up in front of the judge and to keep order in the courtroom.
While serving papers is their main job, they also have other powers.
We actually have full police powers as any other law enforcement officer does. We all have to be certified through the state board in Jackson on training and everything to be certified.
He's able to make arrests, traffic stops, And I mean, anything that he needs to do law enforcement wise, he's able to do it. And they also serve as eyes and ears for us. They are law enforcement officers. So anytime that we need assistance, they're always there to come lend a helping hand.
But helping out doesn't mean they work for those agencies.
A lot of folks have the conception that we work for the sheriff's department. And we work with them, we don't work for them.
There's been times when we needed assistance that these guys actually come out and help us. So, again, they're a tremendous asset.
Constable Lewis Stafford says even though he is an elected official, the county doesn't pay for much.
All the equipment that we use as constables, we purchase that ourselves, with the exception of 2 uniforms and a radio. Our vehicles, our upkeep, our gas, all that comes out of our pockets.
Stafford says the position is fee-based instead of salary. They get paid based on the papers they serve. For now, reporting in Lowndes County, Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
Showers and thunder showers will be on the way out soon. We have some clouds out there, and that will likely set up a pretty nice sunset for us. We'll have more on that later on tonight. Hopefully, we can get some great photos in. Your full forecast is next. Stay tuned.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
We were looking at some showers and storms around Columbus earlier this afternoon. Just a little bit of rain here at the TV station, and then later on we were watching the clouds bubble on up over there in the Starkville area. Always nice to see the summertime rainbows. A very faint one right there, but that's what we tend to see this time of year with some of these passing showers and storms. And there's that tree that fell down on that home earlier near Vernon, Alabama. We had some gusty storms out there, maybe up to about 40 miles per hour as far as the wind gusts and some of this activity, but in general, sub-severe. And we still have some downpours around Vardaman, south and east of Calhoun City, also just to the north of downtown Houston. Another storm cell here just to the northeast of Smithville. Notice the lightning pulsing on up right here, but that won't last too terribly long. What we did have farther south has really weakened, but just the debris clouds left over here. So a lot of this will be on the way out over the next hour or two. Futurecast will just basically show the general trend for the rest of this evening. What you have out there will tend to go away. We'll likely bubble up a few more showers and storms tomorrow, probably across the southeastern areas. That's the higher chance here, south and east of the Trace. As we get into your Friday, much the same story. Can't rule out a pop-up shower storm, especially across the southern and eastern areas. Now, Friday, Saturday, we have the Watermelon Carnival going on in Water Valley yet again, and it looks like we're going to have a pretty nice start here Friday and Saturday. Temperatures in the low 90s, warm and steamy. Can't rule out a stray shower or storm Friday, but higher odds on maybe a few more scattered storms on Saturday versus Friday. But you know the drill this time of year. Some of you will see a downpour. Hopefully it avoids the carnival there in Water Valley, but we'll just wait and see later on. These storms pretty random right now. Upper 60s, low 70s for lows tonight, and once we clear things out, we may see some of that fog redevelop again, especially if you got rain this afternoon. Your Thursday features low 70s at 7, 88 at noon, 91 the forecast side, and mid-80s early tomorrow evening. Your city-by-city forecast will take things back into the low 90s. Tupelo 92, 93 degrees. Winds from the north and northeast at about 4 to 8. Around 90 or 91, maybe 92 in the Golden Triangle area. Same story for you in the West Alabama as well. Here's your statewide forecast. A better chance for some showers and storms to our south tomorrow, but we could still pop a storm around here. And really for the next 7 days, can't rule out a stray shower storm, but higher odds as we get into the weekend again. Upper 80s to low 90s for highs, lows around 70. More of the show after the break.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Academy Week continues on the high school football tour, stopping in Oak Hill Academy Raiders from West Point. The Raiders are a close-knit bond with something to prove this year. The Raiders are stop number 38 on the high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
Oak Hill Academy, that's a special place for me. It's like a family here. I haven't done everything that I've gone through in my life. I've been able to rely on these people to help me through it.
There's a special and unique bond for the players at Oak Hill Academy. These guys have grown up together and formed a tight brotherhood, which is translating on the field.
The tighter you are as a team, I think the more you'll be able to get through tough times. And football is a game of adversity. Who can overcome the adversity? And a close-knit group of guys can do it better than guys that are just out there trying to win a football game.
They are a byproduct of an endeavor over the past 5-6 years. I've been here 13 years, 5th year as a head coach. These guys are kind of a year 4, year 5 product of that. We're strong, and that's what it takes to be able to compete in the game I coach.
The Raiders welcome back plenty of experience on both sides of the ball with a good amount of returning seniors that are hungry for wins.
A 21-man roster, 11 of them are seniors. And we do have a lot of returning stars on both sides of the ball. They have to play both ways. But, you know, I have high expectations for them. They have high expectations from us as a coaching staff. You know, we work hard in the offseason so that we can win. And that's really what we want to do when it's time for competition. We want to win.
We have something to prove. People have been saying we're just going to be average this year, and we want to come out and shock the state of Mississippi.
That'll get started with a matchup against Manatee. The Mustangs are a team that Oak Hill has never competed against before. The Raiders say that they're ready for a brand new challenge.
I love, just like they don't know anything about us, and we don't know anything about them, and so it's like a clean slate. I think they already think that they've won, but we're preparing for them right now. I mean, we're getting ready for them. I mean, I think we're gonna shock them.
The first matchup against Manatee will kick off Oak Hill Academy season on August 23rd. With the Raiders on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Oak Hill Academy was brought to you by Cullum Trucking, Adventure ATV, Royal Trucking, and Fast Pace Urgent Care Clinic.
Academy Week continuing all throughout this week. The Winona Christian Stars hit the tour tomorrow, and then we wrap up Academy Week with Columbus Christian on Friday and Victory Christian on Saturday before jumping back into 2A with East Webster on Sunday and Eupora on Monday. If you've missed any of the stops up to this point, go over to our website, WCBI.com. Former Mississippi State Bulldog and Belmont native Luke Alexander to continue his coaching career here in Mississippi. Blue Mountain College making it official. The Toppers hiring Alexander to join as an assistant baseball coach. Alexander spent the past season as the first base coach for Mississippi State on its journey back to Omaha. That's it for sports. We'll last your forecast coming up next.
The Starkville Public Library summer reading program ends on a wild note. The young readers got a visit from the Tickled Pink petting zoo featuring animals like camels and crocodiles. Director Lorraine Walker says this gives the children a chance to see in person some of the animals they've only seen on the pages.
I thought it'd be really fun to have some exotic animals, have some hands-on fun with them, and just have a big blowout to end the summer on. This is the first time they've gotten to get up close and personal with all the animals, to touch them and to really interact with them.
Looks like a lot of fun. Walker hopes to have another event just like this next year.
Maybe next year they'll just let them loose.
Probably not. No, camels running through the streets of Starkville.
Probably not. Probably not a good idea. All right, we have some showers and some thunder showers out there that are going to be fading away here as we get into the early evening. We may see a few more over the next coming days as well.
All right, that is the news at 6 o'clock, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your hump day.